What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 41 of my Total Warhammer 3 Valkia the Bloody Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, a little battle between Ventress and the Orcs saw the Orcs destroyed outside the Falls of Doom, and us now ready to continue the push towards the Bone Rattlers territories. It might actually be nice to vassalize them if possible, and they do want peace from us. I do have to wonder whether they'd want peace. Wait. Can we give them any territories? Just out of curiosity. I think we checked this last time, but I want to double check. So the Great Skull Lake isn't worth anything, and the Falls of Doom doesn't seem to be worth anything either. Alright, well, if they don't want peace, then they're going to have to suffer. And we will probably try to attack Turg Beard Taker here. Now, Ventress's army is still hurt. Pretty darn badly, I might add. And we cannot turn these guys to Chaos Warriors as yet either, which means that they will definitely be in danger in the fight here. But that said, I think we're gonna still have to try to pull it off. We could try to turn the Chaos, or the Marauder Horsemen to Chariots, but I feel like we need the Knights more in case the Fleshhounds get in trouble. This is the Fleshhound army, after all. So we'll probably have to fight with what we got. But let's see what else we gotta do. Asavar Magath, you, my friend, are going to the Puppets of Misrule, but you can certainly stop by some Ogre territories on your way up there, so let's get you moving, buddy. And there you go, and you can either hit Titan's Notch next turn, or help Charon, depending on if he attacks. Hopefully he doesn't waste his time sieging this. Because then in that case we won't be able to do anything, but we'll see. Harold is also good and now has his maxed out traits, which I'm very happy with him having acquired that Chaos Armor and that Missile Resistance. Really want to throw him into a massive battle as fast as possible. Kailos Malthus Dyer, you are still moving up north and I think you shall continue to do so. I was going to send you potentially to deal with the Orcs, but maybe we'll be okay. And speaking of Orcs, there's another Orky stack right there, with something of a mini-wah. You know what, let's take Demahar Morspig and let's put him into ambush. It's not very likely to succeed, but push him forward, maybe Ardra here will try to go for the Zarnagran territory. Might be something of a fight. Should be a fun time. I guess if that is going to happen, we might as well level up. Now, you are going to have all your Forsaken and your Chaos spawn. Chaos Vanguard should buff up Forsaken, so I think that's the way we go. And I guess Hearts of Iron as well. Are we going to keep you around? I think the plan was to devote you to Khorne eventually, once we get the reduction, or is that only for Demon Princes? Although, you have some nice stuff here. Giver of Glory, eh? Is Giver of Glory the identical thing that the Chaos Sorcerers have on their shrines? I feel like it is. We need to check an actual Sorcerer with a shrine to double check. Oh, right, you also don't have a Sorcerer, because I believe one's on the way. Or we were going to build one. But you certainly do need one. Especially since you're not a Sorcerer Lord. You are not on a War Shrine. Oh, damn, okay. Valkia, your Sorcerer's on a War Shrine, right? Yeah, so Giver of Glory, is that the thing? It's Glittering Robe. This. Yes, it is Giver of Glory. Okay, so basically that guy gets the same ability as one of those units, but I'm not entirely sure that it's super necessary. As in, what does it really give us? Alrighty, well, either way, Path to Glory for you. You are definitely going to need, let's say, Kindle Flame, let's say Flaming Sword of Ruin, and let's get the Burning Head just in case. There's no guarantee that we'll actually get any use of it out of this battle, but if there's a pile of units, though it's not looking like it since we're not seeing any infantry, we may get some value out of it. Though it's probably going to be more dangerous to us than it is to the enemy. Anyway, that's you. Now let's see who else needs to move. Rel Morspig, yes, you are poised to either attack Fort Bergbus or take out the Blackstone Post. Probably worth quite a bit if we sack it at that. Ooh, 22k. Not that we really need the cash, mind you. But it looks pretty good.
The dark gods.
These guys won't peace out, eh? Oh, minus 2. Okay. Over 2,000. I was thinking maybe we vassalize them, but they hate us so much that there's no real point. I guess Blackstone Post is the way to go, although their defenses are pretty darn decent. I mean, to be fair, Rel has faced some darn decent odds. And I think he can certainly take care of this. Now, you have Savage Bloodlust and you have Hammer into Anvil, so really, I guess we start building you out to be a fighter. I mean, we could go through Driven by Rage right now, but we might as well make you able to kill things yourself. Let's get you Deadly Blade, Hard to hit, and Foe Seeker. And I'm sure we'll have plenty of points left to do other stuff with. Now you, Chant, I guess we're gonna want to get you, let's say, Woundmaker for now and Deadly Onslaught. You have your Chaos Commander and your Raging Stalwart. Deadly Blade is probably the way to go. Let's get you Infernal Champion. 10% wound make, or 10% weapon strength is pretty darn decent for 1 point. Now you... Alrighty, so you don't have any of this stuff. Meaning we could buff you up. You could also use Scouting, but we should probably get you some spells. So let's get Final Transmutation for now. And Arcane Conduit, and I'm sure you'll level up further. Alrighty, Rel, you're gonna hit the Blackstone Post, though your battle, I imagine, is not going to be nearly as difficult as that of the battle against the Orcs, so I think we'll do that first, assuming that there isn't other battle that's even better. Mentash, you're gonna continue sieging as you currently are. Ventress, you're about to fight. Mercy, you're just a tech thief and you've got 15 tech thievery up, so you're pretty good. Hopefully you don't get wounded, although honestly, we should really stop stealing tech with you at some point. It's just inviting the Lord or the unit to die. Assassin, keep assassinating as you like to do. Let's just finish up with the admin here, and then we'll fight. You can try to steal tech again. And a failure for you, Tyro Godslayer. How can you slay gods if you can't even steal a territory? Kuchar, you're in the same position. Go for Angariel. And there you go, you succeeded and you've got 10 turns of steel tech. I wonder how many turns left until we finish all of our research. And I believe that's it, alrighty. Ventress Zorateller, once again we're gonna have you get some points in, and you've got quite a few of them available at that. So you have your Chaos Vanguard. The Fleshhounds, since you're a Fleshhound focused army, we do want to buff you. And that is, let's see, non-demonic warbeasts, non-demonic warbeasts. Non-demonic missile cav, demonic missile and flying units, demonic melee units. I assume that Savage Bloodlust is what this is, right? Demonic melee units. It's a war beast, though. It is a melee unit, but it is a war beast. I don't know if that actually counts, and you know what? I'll check afterwards. Let's just get the other stuff for now. Skullcrusher, Rampant Destroyer, Unflinching Soldiers. Buff up those Chaos Warriors, even in relatively small numbers. Seal of Savagery and Burning Brand. There you go. We can get an Infernal Champion, and don't really care about the other stuff up here. I guess we could get you hard to hit so that you're a better duelist yourself. You've certainly been having a few issues. I'd actually love to get Savage Bloodlust once again, but I'm not entirely sure that it actually applies to these Fleshhounds. And I'd really rather not waste points if it doesn't. Granted, this is all Chaos Vanguard. This is a non-demonic support beast, meaning that would be Monstrous Strength. But we don't actually care about buffing those up. Those are here to buff us up. The Chaos Trolls are also... And that would also be Monstrous Strength, though I suppose we could replace those with something. You know, it just got hard to hit for now. And I assume we'll level up at least from one battle. Alrighty, and then your Sorcerer, limited as he is going to need Fireball, Kindle Flame, and once again Burning Head, and probably once again Flaming Sword. You know what, no, get Cascading Fire Cloak, actually. There you go. Now, you. Any items? As in spare items that we could get you. Obsidian, ooh, yes, a free Talisman of Preservation. That's gonna go on our next Lord, and ooh, wait, unless I'm mistaken, we could put that on Hadald. He's using a Talisman of Endurance. Actually, you could use a Talisman of Endurance, though do you deserve one? Have you earned a Talisman of Endurance is the real question. I'm kind of disinclined to risk losing it. Gambler's armor is actually pretty good. Let's get that 8 ward save on ya. Potion of toughness. I'd really rather not lose the potions of toughness, but who has these? Asavar Magath, Gulgast, and Relmor Spig? Yeah. Alright, fine. Take it for now, and maybe we'll swap it out later. And you can have an Opal Amulet in case you get in trouble, I guess. Although they're probably better used on other units. Actually... nah, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And ancillaries. Anything spare that we could give you. You do not cause terror, but we can give you a Wailing Banner. And no Razor Standards for you. We got Banners of Swiftness. I guess we could give you personally a Banner of Swiftness. Make you faster. You're currently on your Juggernaut? Yeah, which is actually relatively slow compared to the Chaos Steed. But, yeah, you know what? Why not? Banner of Swiftness for you. Gleaming Pennant we don't care about. Magister, yes, you do need one. Slave Master, no, and that's it. Man, there are so few ancillaries in this campaign. It's so bizarre. As compared to other campaigns. Interesting, though. You know what? Have a Gleaming Pennant as well. Why not? If nobody's using it, you might as well use it. Alrighty, and then I guess we can give the Crown of Command to your Sorcerer, just in case. Wait, that's a magic item. Crown of Command. Honestly, I'm pretty tempted to delete the Crown of Command anyway. Crown of Command for you. Oh, and we still have that Helm of Many Eyes, which I guess we could give to somebody, but probably not in this army. Alrighty, that looks like a good enough setup to me. Well, let's hit Turg Beard Taker here. And let's see what we can do. Alrighty, looks like the enemy has a low chance of victory, but this may be a lie from the game, just by virtue of the fact that they have 5 pump wagons and 3 rock lobbers, and we have no easy way to get them. Hopefully our cab can take care of them. Now, we'll give the Banner of Swiftness to you, we'll give the Wailing Banner to probably our Sorcerer, who's going to be in the main line, and the Gleaming Pennant, I guess, to... who needs extra leadership? Probably one of the doggos so that they don't disappear. Alright, I think that's as good as it's gonna get. Let us do this cinematically.
Kill, maim, burn, tear them apart, despoil their lands. Fight now, fight for Khorne!
Despoil their land? How much more despoiled can Orc lands be? I mean, we're in the Dark Lands here. They're pretty despoiled already. Anyway, here we go. Gotta remember that our army is still pretty beat up. Our Lord Ventress is below half HP, and about half our melee line is very badly damaged. That said, of course, the enemy is also in march stance, so that does counterbalance that. We did Vanguard deploy all 4 of our units of Flesh Hounds in this little tree line back here, so they are hidden and ready to charge those Grudge Throwers, which are the biggest threat on the field. We are going to do the same thing as we did last episode and charge Ventress in to attack the enemy pump wagons, or, well, I mean, last time we charged him in to attack the Grudge Throwers and stuff, but last time the enemy Lord saw our Lord off without too much trouble. Hopefully this time it won't be a repeat of that, as we did give him items now, and he should be considerably more effective, and he's got some levels since then as well. Alrighty, well, we charged him in at the pump wagons mostly because, well, they're kind of isolated on the side here, and if the enemy wants to let us destroy individual models, I'm perfectly fine with that. It does seem like the Juggernaut's having a little bit of a tough time actually hitting them, getting knocked around by said pump wagons. There we go, at least he managed to destroy one of the models, but damn, I was expecting those models to go down much easier. Alright, well, keep working it. Come on, if you could bring a couple more down, well, maybe you can, maybe you can't, but the enemy Lord is here, and we are going to activate our abilities in order to fight him. Pop that Opal Amulet to get that damage resistance, though the enemy did have the Sundered Armor effect, I guess, on the Lord, or was that the Pump Wagon? If that's the Pump Wagon effect. which should be pretty bad, but we also have the Potion of Toughness to immediately counter that with 30 minus 30 plus, in addition to the melee defense that it offers. Then we got the melee defense and melee attack reduction via trophy kids on the enemy lord, and that looks like that definitely should favor us. The stats definitely do. That said, stats aren't everything, and once again our lord is being knocked around by those pump wagons, and they might be preventing him from actually getting an attack off, depending on how fast he can actually attack. And hopefully he can actually swing at the enemy lord rather than wasting his time on the pump wagons. In fact, it looks like the enemy lord's going to back off rather than fight, and we're going to switch to the pump wagons, and then the lord is going to move back in. Probably a smart move. I would have done the exact same thing. Unfortunately, rather than continue the fight, the enemy is going to move some trolls in, and that's probably a little too much, and we're going to get Ventress out of there. He's taken a blow or two, but otherwise we mostly just don't want him to be fighting the trolls. All while that was happening, our army has been moving in, and fortunately not so much under the fire from the enemy grudge throwers, as they've moved in such a way that they're kind of not in a good position to fire. One of them is basically in the trees. In fact, two of them I think are basically in the trees. And same thing goes for the archers. I'm sure that they can get their shots off from there, but even if they can, they're very vulnerable to our doggos now. Alrighty, and the main lines are about to collide. And there we go, pump wagons moving into Chaos Warriors of Khorne, as well as that Lord following the pump wagons in. We got some Goblin Wolf Riders charging at Aspiring Champions. There's some brave Wolf Riders there, as well as our support Khorne Shrine. Our own trolls are armored and thus a lot less scared of the enemy, and should be able to beat down their trolls and gobos without too much trouble. We've also left the trees with our line of flesh hounds. 4 units of flesh hounds should be able to take care of all these grudge throwers and all these goblin archers without any trouble at all as soon as they get there. Alrighty. Looking pretty good so far. The enemy certainly played into our hands, and they have not been able to get too much value out of all that range that they've got. Speaking of the range that they've got, here come the Flesh Hounds. Kind of hard to see where the enemy is within these trees, but I'm sure the hounds will find them. There we go, there are those, wait, have I been calling them grudge throwers? Rock lobbers, goblin rock lobbers, my bad. Goblins, dwarfs, same thing. And there we go, even as the Flesh Hounds have charged in, we have moved our couple units of cavalry in as well to hit the enemy from the other side, just essentially crushing them in between these two, and all of their range units are thus rendered completely ineffective and will be dead shortly. Speaking of being dead shortly, the balance of power is about 90% in our favor now, and it looks like most of the enemy units are out of luck, and just like that, the entire enemy army shatters. Lovely. Lovely. It does look like as soon as the ranged units were hit, the rest of the entire army and decided to go with them because, well, everybody else was fighting and probably losing the battle in the melee line, and then suddenly they had no support left whatsoever. Well done, everybody. And I think our casualties were pretty minimal at that, but let's double check. Alright, well done to Ventress. A little bit of a shame that Turg refused the duel, but I suppose it doesn't make too much of a difference in the long run. Now, we are outside of our own territory, unless I'm mistaken, or at the very least at the very edge of it, so no, actually we are outside it, so we probably will want to heal here. The army is, of course, going to get destroyed, and once again, just terrible positioning from the AI in that battle. And ooh, a Banner of Eternal Flame. It's actually quite good on several of our lords, and too bad we just can't reach our own territory here. Now, if we go into raiding stance, or do we go to Silver Pinnacle ASAP? regardless.
Wills it.
If we keep moving, we should be able to reach it in one turn, maybe even before the enemy tries to go there. Still not super likely that we get an alliance going. What if we join war against Gorequeen and pay you a bunch of money? Still no, eh? I'm really shocked that he really doesn't want the Falls of Doom. I'm perfectly happy to let him have the territory, but why is it worthless to you? I mean, there's some stuff in there. I wasn't gonna give them... well, actually, the Falls of Doom... Actually, just out of curiosity, once again, Trade Settlement Falls of Doom is worth... wait, it's actually negative? He literally... why? Why is this negative? It's not like it's a territory that's not built at all. I mean, it isn't, but it is, insofar as it's as far as we can build it up ourselves. Strange. Oh, well, I guess if we can reach the Silver Pinnacle in one turn, let's head there. You know what, just to guarantee it, let's go into March Stance. It just... oh! We could reach here in March Stance. Nah, you know what, then go to your own territory. I'd rather you be at full HP, and oh, hello! There's a little full stack here with Azag. Oh, not so great that we were in March Stance, but I guess we can get out of March... okay, that was a weird behavior. Huh. Wait, so if we go into March Stance again... no, okay, we lost our movement speed, huh. It kind of gave us free movement speed there. Weird, but hardly a complaint. You're probably gonna go after the Great Skull Lakes, aren't you, Azag? But if you could defeat Azag and take the Silver Pinnacle and trade it back to them, I'm willing to bet that they'd be able to, or they'd be willing at least, to vassalize in that particular situation. Now, I believe that's everybody that needs to move minus the siege that we still have to do. Let's do some admin work then. I was gonna save up some money, but we gain a lot of money right now, so it doesn't really matter. Krudenwald, I definitely want you to get the Twisted Relic for the increase of money around the battle, because the battles will continue. You can get the medicinal plants. We don't really care about this right now, but we're gonna trade the territory away anyway, and it's not like it really costs anything. Nagenhof, just keep building Twisted Relics everywhere, I guess. And what does this need? Income from technology, erection of ruinous monuments. Those are my favorite kind of monuments. It's all the way over here. Okay, fine. We'll get there eventually. Probably long after the point that we actually need those territories. Zarnagrand, we're going to trade you away to Kolek, so we don't actually need to upgrade you. We need to upgrade everything else. Upgrading we shall go. A Writhing Fortress, yes, yes, and yes. And... I mean, do we have allies around you? We do, but they're not making really any money. Look at this. 161, 88, 40. Ugh. Awful. Yeah, the Norskins really want those port territories. Gotta make sure we trade the Temple of Heimkel and the Frozen Landing to them, even if it costs us some iron. No wonder they're freaking useless. Actually, that makes me think that the USAC would be less useless if one was to give them all the ports here, because it would give them a lot of money. Certainly a thought. You know what, let's hold off on the Vassal Emissary for now, and let us build the Chaos Shrine here as well. Cursed Tower, Prague, yes. Money, growth, defenses, and... construction cost faction-wide. Bloodfire Falls, you're up next. I guess we can keep upgrading your tower. Middenland, we were going to build an upgraded tower here as well, similarly. And we should probably get some Exalted Heroes while we're at it, but we'll do that eventually. We don't need the upgrades for the Exalted Hero buildings, so we'll leave those out for now. And that's it. We still got a nice 32k remaining. Alrighty, well, it looks like we have just enough time this episode to still fight this little siege with Rel, so Rel, our Relling ye shall go, and we're gonna fight this cinematically as well. Let's get to it.
Let the blood flow! Let their heads roll! Let the slaughter commence!
Alrighty, here we go. Rel Morspig has done many a siege in his time, basically knocking out Bretonnia all by himself, and is now going to have to go after the Barrow Legion. We can't be allowing them to capitalize on the fact that we've crippled Bretonnia here, as they've taken Longwy, and just by virtue of the fact that we've essentially destroyed the Bretonians for them. So now Rel is here to make sure that that is not that's not going to be the state of affairs, at least not for long. Now, the enemy does have quite a few units in here. Indeed, they have a Mortis engine and lots of hex rates by the looks of it, so definitely some very nice units in there. But I'm relatively confident, or reasonably confident, in our ability to destroy them, mostly because, well, we have Exalted Bloodletters, and they do magical damage. Alrighty, looks like the enemy is going to actually sally out with one of its vampires, leaving the settlement. Doesn't look like the best idea, as it's already dropping to, I don't know, 2/3 of its HP just by taking hits from our axes, and our lord's simply going to charge in and deal with them. Oh, a second vampire's coming out, interesting. This does not seem like a bright move. They really should have used those vampires together with units acting as their meat shields, because they're just going to get killed out here. Maybe they realize that our units, even if they are extremely limited in their ranged abilities, could fire on the units inside like they had started the battle doing, but nonetheless. Who knows what the AI is thinking? Alrighty, and it looks like Rel has taken care of the first vampire. The second vampire is all the way back here, surrounded by the aspiring champions, as well as our exalted hero, and goes completely flying when charged by Rel, and is now surrounded by the Swords of Chaos as well. So, once again, probably not a place you want to be. Yeah, good job with that one, AI. And the vampire is dismembered, and we are now ready to head into the city. We've got the gate broken open. We've got 2 breaks in the settlement wall as well via our Stone Shatter ability. Looks like the enemy has also decided to sally out a unit of skeleton spears in order to get them completely destroyed by our Chaos Warriors. Alrighty, well, it's always enjoyable watching them fight though. The undead units are numerous, they have high HP pools, and thus we can watch our infantry and go to work and enjoy themselves, rather than everything dying super quickly. It's kind of ironic, because I feel like the Khornate units would really enjoy these fights on the one hand, but on the other hand, most of the undead units don't have blood, so, you know. A little bit of win, a little bit of lose in that particular situation. Anyway, we are in. The enemy has moved its its hex rates. I confuse them with Chaos Knights, with our own Chaos Knights who are fighting them, and the Swords of Chaos, as well as some Graveguard with great swords, and here comes the Mortis Engine as well. We are blobbing up quite nicely, so the Mortis Engine should be very effective in this particular situation, and we do have to try to prioritize it. We did tell Rel and his Exalted Hero, or was it his Sorcerer, to try to attack the Mortis Engine, which has taken a hit so far, but it's kind of hard to break through this massive pile of units. The enemies even dropped some bats down, and while the bats are not going to do any damage, they do make a massive blob that is once again difficult to break through until they're all dead. Fortunately for us though, more and more of our units are streaming into the city, and now it's going to start looking pretty even in terms of sheer numbers. Mortis Engine is still there though. We're going to drop a final transmutation upgraded on the blob of enemies, if nothing else because it looks really cool. Alrighty, and looks like our Exalted Bloodletters are going to be executing some dire doggos here. Not probably the best use for our Exalted Bloodletters, mind you, but, you know, we gotta kill everything, so I'm sure they'll enjoy other stuff. Plus, at least these things bleed. And it looks like Rel has finally reached the enemy Mortis Engine, together with his Exalted Hero and the Sorcerer and the Exalted Hero and the... oh, wow. And we've done quite a lot of damage to this Mortis Engine. On top of that, Trophy Head's reducing its melee defense to 0, so as long as we can manage to hit it, i.e. get through this press of units, it should die reasonably quickly. And in the meantime, we are dropping Searing Dooms upon the enemy. Here comes some Hex Wraiths to try to fight together with the Mortis Engine, but I think a couple more blows will finish the latter off. And I don't think Hex Wraiths are supposed to be in melee combat like this anyway, so this is a terrible position for them to be in the first place. Alrighty, just taking a look around, and did they just use an invocation of Nehek on the Mortis Engine? I think they might have, but it's not... Yes, indeed they did. Oh, that's a good move, AI. That's a very good move. I'm impressed. I'm impressed that the AI didn't stupidly waste the invocation of Nehek on, like, the Graveguard or something and actually used it on its most important unit, the Mortis Engine, which has already done, let's see, while the 19 kills doesn't mean much, it's actually quite a bit, and 16,000 damage. The AI rarely gets these kinds of damage numbers, so once again, proof of how gloriously effective Mortis Engines are. Not that I'm biased towards vampire counts or anything, who said that? That's crazy talk, I swear. Alrighty, well, since it's reached its healing cap, it should be done soon. We've also moved a few of our units out to the side here who are executing some zombies and crypt ghouls, though once again it's going to take a while to get through them. At the very least, very few of our own units will be dropping there. What a fun fight. I'm loving the fact that it isn't a fight that's ending in 2 seconds. Down goes that Mortis Engine exploding. We've also have a few of our cavalry units supporting by chucking their axes at some zombies and crypt ghouls up here, mostly because they don't really have anything else to do, and it's probably too dangerous to have them chuck their axes at the main enemy line. As in, because of their armor piercing, they're probably more likely to damage us than they are to damage the enemy, so please don't do that. There we go. I swear I just saw a few of those land in our own units. And I did decide to charge them in just a little bit. We're going to charge them right back out. I was hoping to get them past this and up here, but that apparently was unlikely. We also did drop a Sword of Khorne on some units here, but it was just some zombies and Graveguard. One of the units melted away. This one is very badly damaged now, and the Graveguard are slightly hurt. But there was no real good location to use the Sword of Khorne on. It would have been back when the enemy had a massive blob here, but unfortunately the sword didn't activate until now. Not a big deal, however, as the enemies, while are certainly holding us back, let's say, they're not doing a lot in terms of killing us, especially now that that Mortis Engine is dead. Alrighty, keep breaking through them Exalted Bloodletters. I'm just waiting to see if any of the Exalted Bloodletters die here. Well, you know, the towers are firing at them, so I'm sure that the towers are occasionally getting a few kills on the Exalted Bloodletters, though not many seem to be dropping out of the front line. It's also not where the towers are firing. Oh, I just saw one melt. There you go. Finally, the ghouls achieved something. At least over on this side. Well, this portion of the battlefield should be just about ours. We are also now going to start streaming up this ramp. Still a few enemy crypt ghouls blocking us. And the fact that they're in a little circle like this is probably making it a little bit difficult to hit them all. Yeah, I could really use a little bit more splash damage in here. Ah, there you go. One of the Bloodletters went right into the middle of that circle. Good job. You're where you wanna be. And whoever isn't blocked is simply going to head up that hill and face off against some zombies and Graveguard. Red versus blue here once again. And I do like the contrast in color schemes. And I guess this is what the enemy sees. Let's say, wait, it's a Necromancer. Is it still alive? I think it's still alive, yeah, so. Want to take a position from what the enemy is seeing rather than from what we're seeing, because that's, well, usually what we see. Oh, I love the way that those Exalted Bloodletter swords look. I love the fact that they're glowy and on fire as our units advance. And there we go, that's another Sword of Khorne right in the middle of the screen. I actually had completely forgotten that we had gotten a second use of it. Once again, it doesn't do a crazy amount of damage because we had to keep it far enough away from the enemy or from our own units so that it didn't damage them. But it probably halved the HP of a few enemy units. They will still have to continue holding here though. And hopefully our Juggernauts can actually, or our Lord and Hero on Juggernauts can land a few hits. Seem to be having a difficult time doing so. I do wish units would try to attack when they get stuck like this. Because they're trying to attack a unit in here. Ah, there you go. It looks like they finally got annoyed. Alrighty, well, while all that is happening, we've managed to finally break through over on this side, which means the cav is moving in, and the melee units that managed to break through are going to hit the enemy in the back. Which should make this battle go a lot quicker, as these guys won't be able to hold that ramp choke point anymore. At least our Lord and Exalted Hero appear to be working now, starting those hits. And once again, we did need that splash damage, so much appreciated. And here come those Exalted Bloodletters to hit the enemy in the back, and I'm sure that these guys will start crumbling in very short order. I'm not sure why the screen is shaking. There we go. It's not like there's any large units moving around. Maybe it's when the tower shots land near the screen? Interesting question. Alrighty, well with that, these should be just about the last remnants of the enemy units. There's still a few surrounding the enemy Necromancer, but I'm assuming that we shall hit critical mass fairly shortly, as in the enemy will have suffered sufficient losses to have died. Unfortunately for them, their Master Necromancer is also only at level 4, so we didn't have to worry about it casting like a Wind of Death on us, which would be devastating here, of course, but a poor level 4 Necromancer is really not something to be concerned with. Of course, Raised Dead is always something to be concerned with, but honestly, in this particular situation, that just adds more fun for our Khorne units. A bunch of Black Knights still running around up top here. They've been going back and forth a bunch of times. I do wonder why. Anyway, our Lord has broken free from the press and is now chasing after that Necromancer here. In terms of stats, this is a pretty massive disparity. 101 melee attack and 30 melee attack. And this is without the buffs even. And the Necromancer has also no armor and extremely low HP, so if you can hit him, he should be able to do good. Oh, it looks like he's going to go behind the barrier, and then he's going to come through the barrier. Make up your mind, buddy. And what the heck was that? Charge him directly. There you go. There you go. Looks like he's going to cast Invocation of the Heck on himself, but that hit actually failed, surprisingly. 44 melee defense looks like it's enough, considering we have 106 melee attack. And he's going to use Van Hell's Dance Macabre as if he's going to be able to take this in a melee fight. Okay, good luck, buddy. Truly, I do wish you luck. Yeah, kick at the Juggernaut. That's going to do something. Honestly, that just seems like you're just going to impale your own foot on the spikes on its head. Alrighty, let's see what we've got here. Looks like we've managed to hit it a couple times, but surprisingly this is taking longer than I feel like it should, especially now that we're at 106 melee attack and 1.3k weapon strength, and this guy has like no armor. Trophy heads are also decreasing his melee defense down to 14, so I feel like nearly every hit should be landing here. 130 versus 14. It might be something about the models. Maybe the Juggernauts aren't particularly good at fighting smaller models like this, because that's way too many hits are missing. That doesn't seem right. Well, hopefully we have some help coming in, and that looked like a hit to me. Yeah, that one was a hit. Huh. Seems like they're good on the charge. I'm gonna want to make some comparison between them and Chaos Steeds at some point. At least in dueling smaller Footlords. Then again, how often do we really fight single lords on foot like this? Probably not all that often, but yeah, this guy's taken way too long to die. There we go, finally. Lost his arm and the staff that it was holding, and he goes down. The rest of the army is still alive, shockingly enough. While we were fighting that enemy lord, mostly we were just slowly marching our army up this ramp. Looks like there's still a unit of Graveguard up here, and we're going to charge it directly with our Swords of Chaos. Gotta be a little bit careful with them, as they've started to take a little bit of damage now. Probably due to towers hitting them throughout the battle. But I'm assuming that one single unit of Graveguard, especially without greatswords, is really not that much of a threat to them. And the Graveguard will be destroyed by the exalted Bloodletters fairly quickly, I'm sure, especially as they do have armor-piercing damage. Oh, those towers firing into our ranks are so annoying. Really glad that the enemy did not have the patience to wait and create high-tier towers that would actually do a lot of splash damage, though. And the basic towers are just not threatening enough. Alrighty, and I do believe this Graveguard unit should be one of the last units on the field. We've got a few more fights going on here as our Lord has moved in and some Exalted Bloodletters are fighting those Black Knights and Hex Wraiths that were running around on that bridge for whatever reason. And it looks like that is sufficient, and they are all going to melt as the battle ends. Lovely, lovely. And we were even getting a few of our units getting some fire support from our range. Alright. Well done, everybody. It doesn't look like we took too much damage, but we certainly took a little bit more damage than perhaps expected. Our Chaos Sorcerer got hurt, and a few of our units that were in the main press around the Mortis Engine got hurt, but once again, we were kind of expecting that as soon as we saw Mortis Engine, and the fact that that's the way this army functions in a massive blob. At least for now, and at least, well, not on a field. But anyway, close victory, but we should be able to heal up probably to full anyway, so it's probably not all that consequential anyway. Alrighty, as usual, pretty well done to Rel here. Took some damage on our Chaos Sorcerer by virtue of sending him into combat, but otherwise not too much damage elsewhere. It did take a while to break through the ranks of the undead, and once again I do feel like that's me getting a taste of my own medicine as someone who loves the vampire count so much. But at the end of the day it was not enough, though the weird difficulty for these guys killing the enemy lord was still very odd to me, as they should have been able to kill him in essentially 2 hits, but oh well. Sack the place, of course. Another 22k, which we clearly needed. And then occupied right after to heal up. Lovely. And that's another iron for us. That's more armor for Chaos Warriors faction-wide, and I assume that that does in fact stack. We got 160 armor on these. I don't remember how much we started with, but it's certainly a reason not to let go of more iron locations. Probably should have tried to keep Fort Chakova for ourselves rather than allowing these guys to have it. But then again, it's only for Chaos Warriors, right? Which doesn't count, I assume, Chosen. So once these guys all get upgraded to Chosen, it won't matter. 172 armor. Pretty ridiculous. Anyway, unfortunately with that, we are out of time. Huh, wait. Chosen are at 172. Chaos Warriors are at 172. Huh. Oh, wait. Where's Harald? He has Chosen with shields, who are also at 172 at high ranks, and 162 at low ranks. If we compare regular Chaos Warriors, Chaos Warriors of Khorne, low ranks 172. I think that means that Chaos Warriors and Chosen are both counted in the armor plus 10. Which is interesting, but it's also another reason we shouldn't be letting go of any iron we can find. Interesting. Might want to then trade back some of the iron we've given away. I'm sure that there's some around here while you're a Dark Fortress, so we don't need to do anything about you. We did give the Pack Ice Bay away, but it's generating a lot of money for these guys, which kind of makes me hesitate to give it away. We gave away Hotek's Column as well. Wow. Okay, well, I guess we'll be keeping the High Sentinel if nothing else, and we'll just give the Floating Pyramid to these guys anyway. It's certainly an interesting consideration, and I'll keep it in mind going forward. As I said, we're out of time. Next time we will continue the advance pretty much everywhere, but more importantly, we will most likely end the turn and thus subjugate Festus finally, and then be able to move down south. And I believe that's the last of the Chaos Warriors factions, other than Village, that we need to get, which, we're on the way to, though it'll probably take a while to get there, but we'll have Village 2 and complete our collection eventually. So stay tuned for more Valkia. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.